So the proliferation of algal blooms has become a global environmental concern because of its expansion, because of its intensification, and consequently potentially serious ecological and human health risks. So algal blooms are not a new environmental phenomenon. It is an old problem with renewed urgency because the proliferation of algal blooms has been favored by several factors such as climate change, impacts of global change, and of course the impacts of human activities. Algal blooms occur more frequently in warmer regions because the ecological process of the growth of algae in an aquatic environment is governed by two factors. Natural factor, which is climate conditions, warmer water temperature, and the availability of sunlight. And algae need sunlight for photosynthesis and their growth. The other factor is human-induced factor, which is nutrient enrichment in water bodies, and that is mainly a result of the discharge of untreated or insufficiently treated municipal wastewater or nutrient discharges in agricultural runoff to freshwater resources. So controlling algal blooms should target human-induced factor because we cannot control the natural factor or the climate conditions. It is also important to involve different actors such as industries and agriculture, farmers, for example, through raising awareness and providing training for farmers on sustainable agricultural practices, on the optimization of the use of fertilizers and pesticides in agriculture, because that will reduce the input of nutrient discharges from agriculture runoff into freshwater. And it should also be noted that agricultural runoff not only contains nutrients, but it also carries lots of other pollutants to freshwater, and such as pesticides and chemicals, which also have potentially serious human health and ecological impacts. Industries can also be major actors in the reduction of nutrients discharged into freshwater through transition to more environmentally friendly ecological industrial processes such as green industries or green factories, which can reduce their discharge of effluents into water bodies, or which can also recycle water within their industries. So climate change will not only affect one country. The impact of climate change reaches globally. It impacts all of us, the world community. The climate change will worsen the proliferation of algal blooms, and the global extent of algal blooms will increase. The intensity and occurrences of algal blooms will also increase. Climate change will also intensify the frequency and intensity of floods and drought, and which means more frequent floods and heavy rains will lead to increased discharges of nutrients from agricultural fields or in stormwater to freshwater. So climate change impact will not only affect our generation and the nature we depend on, it also impacts our future generation, because the impact of climate change and the resulting changes in water resources and ecosystems will be lasting over several years and decades. This means climate change will impact our future generations and their opportunities for a clean environment with rich biodiversity and clean water. algal blooms reduce biodiversity because some of the toxic algal blooms can reduce biodiversity, certain species in aquatic environments, because they can be harmful. The toxin can be harmful to fish and aquatic organisms. So action on climate change cannot wait. So is action on protecting our precious water resources. We need to protect the health of people. We need to protect our environment on which our societies and our survival depends.